Hi, I'm Dorothy. 3 months ago, I became a mother to the most beautiful baby girl, Emma. Being a new mom changed everything about my life, but I never imagined it would cost me my relationship with my father. Dad's bringing Veronica to the baptism, my husband Mark said, scrolling through his phone. I looked up from nursing Emma. Did he ask if that was okay? Does he ever ask? Mark sighed. You know how he's been since he started dating her. 6 months and he acts like she's the center of the universe, I muttered. Remember Thanksgiving? She showed up drunk at 2 in the afternoon. And your dad just laughed it off. Veronica's just having fun, he said. Mark put down his phone. You need to set boundaries, Dorothy. He's my father, Mark. It's complicated. Emma's safety isn't complicated. The baptism was at my sister Rachel's house. The moment Dad walked in with Veronica, I smelled the alcohol. There's my grandbaby! Dad boomed, arms outstretched. Hi, Dad! I held Emma closer. How are you? Wonderful! Veronica, come meet little Emma. Veronica stumbled forward, her words slurring. Oh my God, she's so tiny! Let me hold her! Maybe later, I said carefully. She just ate and... Don't be ridiculous, Dorothy. Hand her over. Veronica reached for Emma. I stepped back. Veronica, you've been drinking. So what? I'm not going to drop her. She lunged forward again. Veronica, please. Dorothy, stop being dramatic, Dad snapped. Give Veronica the baby. Dad, no, she's drunk. His face reddened. You're being disrespectful. Veronica loves babies. She's not going to hurt Emma. Rachel appeared at my side. Dad, maybe Dorothy's right. Veronica does seem a bit... You too, Rachel? What is this? Gang up on Veronica Day? Dad's voice rose. Mark stepped between us. Sir, Dorothy is Emma's mother. She gets to decide who holds her. And I'm her grandfather. I have rights. Actually, you don't, I said quietly. Not when it comes to my daughter's safety. Veronica started crying. You all hate me. You've always hated me. Veronica, that's not... I started. Look what you've done, Dad shouted at me. You've upset her. I've upset her? Dad, she showed up drunk to my daughter's baptism. She had a couple drinks. You're being a sanctimonious little... Careful, Dad, Rachel warned. Don't say something you'll regret. I regret raising such judgmental daughters. He grabbed Veronica's hand. We're leaving. Come on, honey. Wait, Veronica said, wiping her eyes. I just want to hold the baby. 5 minutes. Veronica, no, I said firmly. Please, I promise I won't. The answer is no. Dad's face contorted with rage. You know what, Dorothy? You've become a stuck-up, controlling... Dad, leave, Rachel said sharply. Fine, but don't come crying to me when you need something. He stormed toward the door, then grabbed a folding chair. Dad, what are you... I didn't finish. He hurled the chair across the room. It missed Emma and me by inches, crashing into the wall behind us. The room went silent. Emma started screaming. Mark lunged at my father. Are you insane? You could have killed them. I wasn't aiming at them, Dad yelled back. You threw a chair at my wife and baby. Mark's face was inches from Dad's. Get out, now! Rachel was already on her phone. I'm calling the police. Rachel, don't be ridiculous, Dad said, suddenly sounding uncertain. You just assaulted my sister and niece, Rachel said coldly. The police are coming. It was an accident. I was upset. You threw a chair at your daughter while she was holding your grandchild. Rachel's voice shook. What kind of person does that? Dorothy, tell them I didn't mean... I held Emma tight, my whole body trembling. Get away from us. Dorothy, please. You almost killed your granddaughter because your drunk girlfriend couldn't hold her. My voice broke. Get out of my sight. Veronica tugged on Dad's arm. Let's just go, baby. No. Dad shook her off. This is my family. Not anymore, I whispered. The police arrived 10 minutes later. Officer Martinez took my statement while Officer Chen talked to the other guests. And your father threw the chair in your direction while you were holding your 3-month-old daughter? Martinez asked. Yes, I said, my voice steadier now. It hit the wall behind me. Did he make any verbal threats? He was yelling, calling me names. Then he just grabbed the chair and threw it. Mark sat beside me, holding Emma. I saw the whole thing. It was deliberate. He was angry that Dorothy wouldn't let his girlfriend hold the baby. The girlfriend who had been drinking? Martinez clarified. Heavily, Rachel interjected. I have video from before the incident. You can see how drunk Veronica was. Send that to me, please. Martinez handed Rachel a card. Any injuries? Just emotional, I said. But if that chair had hit Emma... I understand, ma'am. We're taking this very seriously. Dad was sitting in Officer Chen's patrol car when we finished. He kept shouting through the window. Dorothy! Tell them it was an accident. You know I'd never hurt Emma. I walked over to the car, Mark beside me. You're done, Dad. Do you understand that? You're done. I'm your father. You were my father. Now you're just a man who threw a chair at my baby. I wasn't aiming at her. You threw it in our direction. That's enough. I turned to Officer Chen. What happens now? He'll be charged with assault and child endangerment, Chen said. Given the circumstances, the child, the reckless nature, it's serious. Good, Mark said firmly. Dorothy, please, Dad called out. Don't do this, we're family. Family doesn't do what you did, I said, and walked away. The next day, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. First, it was my Aunt Linda. Dorothy, your father called me crying, she said. He says you're pressing charges over an accident. It wasn't an accident, Aunt Linda. He threw a chair because I wouldn't let his drunk girlfriend hold my newborn. But he's your father. Can't you forgive? No. Dorothy, family doesn't endanger babies. I have to go. I hung up. Then my cousin Brian called. Hey, so I heard there was some drama at the baptism? Brian, Dad threw a chair at me while I was holding Emma. Yeah, but he was just mad, right? He didn't actually mean to. He threw a chair. What part of that sounds okay to you? I mean, everybody loses their temper sometimes. Maybe you're being a little what? Protective of my 3-month-old daughter? You're right, Brian. How unreasonable of me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying maybe you're overreacting. Goodbye, Brian. I blocked his number. Rachel came over that evening with pizza. How are you holding up? Half the family thinks I'm overreacting. The other half isn't speaking to me. I grabbed a slice. Aunt Linda said I should forgive him because he's my father. Aunt Linda lets Uncle Joe treat her like garbage. Her advice is worthless. Rachel poured us both wine. What did the lawyer say? Mark talked to him this morning. The district attorney is definitely prosecuting. Between the witnesses, the video of Veronica drunk, and the fact that I was holding Emma, they're taking it seriously. Good. Dad's been calling Mom. She left him 10 years ago. What does he think she'll do? I don't know. She called me this afternoon. I took a sip of wine. She said, Dorothy, I know your father has issues, but he's still your father. What did you say? I said, Mom, he threw furniture at your granddaughter. She got quiet. Then she said, I'll support whatever you decide. That's progress. Remember when we were kids and she made excuses for everything he did? This is different. Emma's involved. I paused. Mark's mother also called. She said if I wanted to drop the charges to keep the peace, she'd understand. Please tell me you said no. I said, Susan, with all due respect, if someone threw a chair at you while you were holding Mark as a baby, what would you have done? She said, I would have killed them. I said, exactly. So I'm pressing charges. Rachel laughed. I bet that shut her up. She actually apologized, said she wasn't thinking clearly. I finished my wine. But here's what bothers me. Why is everyone so quick to defend him? He threw a chair at his granddaughter. Because people don't want to believe someone they know is capable of something that awful, Rachel said. It's easier to believe you're exaggerating than to accept that Dad is violent. Well, they're about to learn the truth. Mark came in from putting Emma down. She's finally asleep. How's the war council going? We're strategizing. Rachel said. What's the lawyer saying about the trial? He thinks it's strong. Multiple witnesses, video evidence, and the fact that Dorothy was holding an infant makes it particularly egregious. What about Veronica? I asked. She wasn't charged, but she'll likely be called as a witness. She'll lie for him, I said. Probably, Mark agreed. But we have everyone else. I ran into Mrs. Peterson at the store, Rachel said. She's known Dad for 30 years. I told her what happened. You know what she said? What? I always knew there was something wrong with that man. Apparently, he screamed at her son at a Little League game 20 years ago for striking you out. I don't remember that. You were 8, but Mrs. Peterson remembers. And she's willing to testify about his temper if needed. Character witnesses, Mark said. The lawyer will love that. My phone buzzed. Another number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail, then played it on speaker. Dorothy, it's Dad. Please, sweetheart, call me back. We need to talk about this. I made a mistake, okay? I lost my temper. But you can't send me to jail. I'm your father. I love you. I love Emma. Please, just call me. We can work this out. Please. His voice broke at the end. Rachel looked at me. You okay? Yeah, I said, deleting the message. I'm done being manipulated by his tears. The preliminary hearing was 3 weeks later. I walked into the courthouse with Mark, Rachel, and our lawyer, David Chang. Dad was in the hallway with Veronica and his lawyer, Patricia Walsh. He looked terrible. Gaunt, unshaven, older. Dorothy, he said, stepping toward me. Can we talk? No. Please, just 5 minutes. There's nothing to discuss. Patricia intervened. Miss Harrison, perhaps we could discuss a resolution. The resolution is your client facing consequences for his actions. Dad's voice cracked. Dorothy, I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I'll never see Veronica again. I'll get help. Just please. You should have thought about that before you threw the chair. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was just so angry. At what? At me protecting my baby from your drunk girlfriend? Veronica spoke up. I wasn't that drunk. You're all exaggerating. You could barely stand, Rachel snapped. I have video proof. That video is out of context. I had the flu. I was taking medication. Medication that smelled like vodka? David said dryly. Inside, Judge Reynolds listened to both sides. Your Honor, Patricia argued, my client deeply regrets his actions. He threw a chair while his daughter was holding an infant, Judge Reynolds interrupted. Where exactly was the chair supposed to land? Dad stood up suddenly. Your Honor, I need to speak. Dorothy, please. Remember when you were little? I taught you to ride a bike. I walked you down the aisle at your wedding. You also threw a chair at me while I held your granddaughter. I wasn't aiming at you. Where were you aiming? The wall directly behind me and Emma? I was just trying to make a point. By throwing furniture? What point was that? That you were being unreasonable. I was protecting my baby from a drunk woman. That's called being a mother. You humiliated Veronica. Order! Judge Reynolds banged her gavel. Mr. Harrison, sit down. Your Honor, I need Dorothy to understand. What I understand, I said, standing, is that you value your girlfriend's feelings more than your granddaughter's safety. That's not true. Really? When I said no to Veronica holding Emma, you didn't respect my decision. You got angry and violent. I lost my temper. And what happens next time? What if Emma's a toddler? Will you throw something at her too? I would never. You already did. She was 3 months old. Dad started crying. Dorothy, please. I'm your father. Don't send me to prison. You should have thought about that before you acted like a violent criminal. I'll do anything. I'll never drink again. I'll leave Veronica. Stop. Every word is about avoiding consequences. Not once have you said you're sorry for scaring me, for putting Emma in danger. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. No, you're sorry you got caught. You're not sorry for what you did. That's not fair. Fair? I can't sleep because I keep seeing that chair flying past my baby's head. Emma will never know her grandfather because he's violent. But sure, let's talk about what's fair to you. Judge Reynolds looked at me. Miss Harrison? Anything else? Yes, Your Honor. My father has called me dozens of times. He's had family members call. Everyone wants me to forgive him. But no one has asked if Emma's okay, if I feel safe. They only care about protecting him from his own actions. I'm done protecting men who don't deserve it. My father made a choice. Now he lives with it. Judge Reynolds nodded. Trial is set for 6 weeks. Mr. Harrison, you are not to contact Miss Harrison. Understood? Yes, Dad whispered. As we left, Dad called out, Dorothy, wait! I'm your father. I stopped at the door. No, you're the man who tried to hurt my daughter. There's a difference. The trial lasted 3 days. 14 witnesses testified, including Rachel, Mark, baptism guests, and Mrs. Peterson about Dad's history of anger. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Dad collapsed. Veronica screamed. Judge Reynolds sentenced him to 18 months in jail, 3 years probation, and mandatory anger management. He was also issued a restraining order keeping him from Emma until she turned 18. That evening, Rachel came over with champagne. How does it feel? Empty, I admitted. Like I should feel relieved, but I'm just empty. You just put your father in jail. He put himself there. I just refused to let him get away with it. Mark brought Emma over. I took her, kissing her forehead. She won't remember any of this, Rachel said. I know. I just wish my dad could have been different. That Emma could have had a grandfather who loved her without conditions. Some people can't do that, Mark said. It's not your fault. My phone rang. A voicemail from Mom. Dorothy, I'm proud of you. You protected your baby. That's what mothers do. I'm sorry I didn't do it more for you and Rachel. Call me when you're ready. Rachel raised her glass. To Dorothy, the most badass mom I know. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from Dad. I almost threw it away. Dorothy, I've had time to think. You were right about everything. I chose Veronica over you. Over Emma. I keep replaying that day, wishing I could go back. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand now. You were being a good mother. Tell Emma about me if you want. Or don't. Either way, know that I love her. And I love you. Dad. I put it in my desk drawer. Are you going to write back? Mark asked. No, there's nothing to say. He made his choice. I made mine. No regrets? Not about protecting Emma. Never about that. That night, rocking Emma to sleep, she grabbed my finger. You're safe, baby, I whispered. You're always going to be safe. That's my promise. No one gets to hurt you. Not on my watch. I thought about everyone who told me to forgive Dad, to keep the peace, to think about family. But I did think about family. I thought about Emma, her safety, her future, and I chose her. That's what being a mother means. Making the hard choices, setting boundaries, protecting your child even when everyone says you're wrong. 6 months later, Emma took her first steps. Rachel cheered. Mark recorded it. Mom cried on FaceTime. Dad wasn't there. He'll never be there. And Emma will be better for it. That's not revenge. That's protecting my daughter. And I'd do it again. Some people will say I'm cold, unforgiving, that everyone deserves second chances. But second chances are for people who are genuinely sorry. My father wanted to avoid consequences. That's different. My daughter deserves a life free from people who prioritize their ego over her safety. That's not too much to ask. What would you have done in Dorothy's situation? Would you have pressed charges against your own father? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and subscribe for more true stories like this one.